Hello and welcome to the Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I have Daniel McAdams with me again. Daniel, just your quick thoughts here on the GOP report on Hunter Biden and his, let's see, his wild adventures in Ukraine and elsewhere in the world. My initial reaction is it doesn't really surprise me. It really bothers me that no one else is surprised in the media, because this is how things are done in Washington. That's how things are done in Washington. Then we don't need any government and we don't need any politicians. And also the media response. This is a dud. And it's even in the titles of all these articles. On the left here. Okay, a GOP dud report. It's like don't even read what they wrote. Well, they wrote some pretty damning things here. Okay, it's obviously an attempt by the left to wipe this under the rug as we approach Election Day. But I mean, Hunter, if you get away with that and all the other children of people in power, then not only is it dubiously legally, but it's really morally corrupt. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, I was thinking the Politico headline, anti-Biden report comes out, and someone else said it was hardcore right-wing report. I don't know where the hardcore right-wingers are in the Republican Party in Washington, D.C., but yeah, it is an attempt to sweep it under the rug. My first thought was, and I'm sure everyone had this thought, if that name Hunter Biden was changed for Donald Trump Jr. and he did all of those things, Adam Schiff would be spitting blood out of his ears and eyes. His head would twist around like The Exorcist. The things that Hunter Biden apparently has done. We've seen the report when Daddy was sitting in the White House as a vice president of the United States of America is pretty astonishing. And as you say, if not outright illegal, certainly immoral on so many levels. But, you've lived overseas forever, Peter. I lived over for a few years. And I do understand how someone like Hunter Biden, with Daddy not only in the White House as vice president, but pretty active in foreign affairs, this guy is solid gold. You want him on your board. You want to hang out with him. You want to get him to make a phone call. So every kind of two-bit businessman, and I know you've met a lot of them, and I have too, this guy is absolute solid gold. So it really isn't a surprise. And what did he do? Oh, he ran around and sucked it up to the tune of millions of dollars and God knows what other nefarious activities.
Yeah, but it's just another variation on influence peddling, pay to play. And what's again, it's so disturbing to me. But to me, when I hear, well, this is how business is done. Why should we accept that that's the way it's done? Okay, and of course this reminds me of the hoax called Russiagate, where it was always claimed that Trump is compromised and he's open to blackmail. Well, if you look at what Hunter Biden was doing, according to the report, don't you think he would be susceptible to it? We even had officials in the U.S. State Department at the time warning this. We have former Secretary of State John Kerry saying that he knew nothing about it. The report claims otherwise. He lied or maybe even perjured to someone. But there's no consequences. Ask General Flynn.
Yeah, there are no consequences to it. The irony, Peter, is how many millions or tens of millions of dollars did the U.S. spend between the end of communism and now to go over there and preach to the people of the Soviet, realm about corruption? We've got to end corruption. So many of these wonderful NGOs going over there lecturing the locals about it. And here we've got this corruption cancer way worse in our own government than they have over there.
That's one of the things that, having visited Ukraine many, many times, well, at least before the illegal overthrow of the democratically elected government. But this hypocrisy that the West is the future for them, and it's rules based and all of this, and no, it's carpetbagging. I mean, weeks after the overthrow of the democratically elected government, you had the carpetbaggers from the United States and many other countries there, not to invest in the country, but to fleece the country. I know that's what they did in the 1990s here in Russia. Okay, Western experts. So no, they came here to fleece and steal. and to set an example of how you can do it on an international scale. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, for me, it's so the hypocrisy stinks to high heaven, believing that that these NGOs and politicians were bringing higher ethics and values, when in fact they just took corruption to a higher level. Go ahead, Daniel.
I remember in the 90s when I was living in Hungary and they were going to join NATO. And of course, all of the big defense military companies came over, threw a couple of bucks at the NGOs to talk up how much they needed to buy this stuff. I remember meeting with the guys who wanted to sell F-18s, right? These are twin engine planes. The problem is when you get up to speed, you're already out of the country of Hungary because it's too damn small. They didn't care. They spent millions of dollars. You're right. It's all carpetbaggers. That's what they do. They make a quick buck, and you're right. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, well, what it is that it's instead of pitching, bringing democracy to these poor souls, it is basically pitching a grift for people back home. Okay, I mean, look what happened with the attack on the Aramco installations in Saudi Arabia. They spent hundreds of billions of dollars on these trinkets, but they couldn't fight off a low technology missile that just could. And whoever fired that missile knew exactly what they were doing. They were sending a message: we can do this, and there's no defense against it. Okay, so I guess that goes to the follies of power in pursuit of grift. Daniel McAdams, thank you for being here on the Gaggle with us here. Folks, if you like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be sending you out a whole lot more.